Welcome to the weekly Vedic horoscope prediction for the week of February 14 to February 21st. So we'll start from all the planetary happenings, all the major planetary situations, and then continue on to the individual signs. Please note this is based on your Vedic horoscope, not the Western horoscope. The solar eclipse on February 17th, that is happening in Aquarius, opens a portal of karmic healing and sudden change. Sun, Mars, and Rahu in Aquarius drive social destiny shifts and identity resets. Saturn, Mercury, and Venus in Pisces provide spiritual maturity, emotional depth, and realistic planning. Jupiter, exalted and retrograde in Cancer, acts as a cosmic safety net. Mars in Aquarius demands disciplined, purposeful action rather than impulsive moves. So the changes this week may feel intense, but they are ultimately healing. And what ends now was already breaking, and what begins now will have the weight of destiny behind it. Now let's move on to the 12 sign predictions, starting with Aries or Mesha in Vedic language. The eclipse activates your 11th house of gains and ambitions. Sun, Mars, and Rahu clustering in Aquarius bring sudden shifts in social circles, income sources, or long term projects. A major source of income or a group project may suddenly halt or pivot direction. Jupiter, exalted in your 4th house, provides emotional protection and a safety net through family or property. Saturn in Pisces, your 12th house, creates subconscious karmic cleansing. Expect vivid dreams, sleep pattern changes, or mental processing of old wounds. Rahu in the 11th warns of hidden agendas within friend circles. Be the silent observer this week and let others reveal their cards before making your move. Mercury and Venus in Pisces support spiritual practices and behind the scenes creative work. This is a week to end one chapter quietly while preparing the next phase. Next, we move on to the next sign, that is Taurus or a Rishabha in Vedic language. The eclipse hits your 10th house of career, the epicenter of change for you this week. Mars and Rahu in Aquarius create a vacuum of power at work, which could mean a sudden vacancy, leadership shakeup, or a pivot in your professional direction. Saturn in Pisces influences your 11th house of gains and long term goals, pushing realistic planning over wishful thinking. Mercury and Venus in Pisces support networking, and your charm and diplomatic skills help keep the peace during turbulent professional moments. Jupiter exalted in your 3rd house give you the voice and confidence to command respect even in chaos. Rahu in the 10th house is pulling you toward unconventional or digital career paths. Ketu in Leo in your 4th house may create some emotional detachment from home matters. Expect a fated communication around February 17th. It may feel overwhelming, but trust your ability to handle it. This week favors structured, realistic career planning. Next, we move on to the next sign, and that is Gemini or Midhuna in Vedic language. The eclipse occurs in your 9th house of Dharma, fortune, and higher learning. A long held belief system may be challenged, or a legal or academic matter could take an unexpected turn. Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, your 2nd house of wealth and family, is a saving grace. Family finances remain protected even as external life feels turbulent. Saturn in Pisces pushes career related decision making from your 10th house. Mercury in Pisces, your 10th house, supports professional communication, writing, teaching, consulting roles, all of those careers will shine. Mars and Rahu in Aquarius bring intensity to philosophical and educational pursuits. Avoid signing binding legal documents, specifically on February 17th or February 18th. The energy around February 20th suggests a spiritual or educational goal that you have held for years may finally gain a physical structure. This is an expand but stay grounded kind of week. Stay focused on facts and avoid being preachy to others. Next sign, we move on to Cancer or Karka. This is arguably the most intense week of the year for you. The eclipse hits your 8th house of transformation and vulnerability. Mars and Rahu in Aquarius create a high pressure situation regarding shared finances, insurance, inheritance, or deep emotional bonds. Jupiter exalted in your first house is a divine shield. Your health and spirit remain intact even as external structures shift. Saturn in Pisces in your ninth house supports spiritual growth and emotional maturity, but it may test your belief system or long distance plans. Venus and Mercury in Pisces deepen emotional sharing and bring meaningful financial discussions with partners. Rahu in the 8th may tempt with shortcuts, resist them. This is a week for deep meditation, laying low around February 17th and trusting that the old skin being shed is making room for a more powerful version of you. Inner transformation is now disguised as external events. Next, we move on to the next sign, which is Leo or Simha. Ketu continues its transit through Leo, your first house. Ego detachment and identity simplification remain ongoing themes. The Sun, your ruler, faces the eclipse in your 7th house of partnerships. This is a make or break kind of week for relationships, both romantic and professional. A sudden truth about a partner could be revealed. Mars and Rahu in the 7th create friction, making you feel at war with those you're closest to. Jupiter exalted in your 12th house suggests strength come through withdrawal rather than confrontation. Sometimes winning means walking away. Saturn in Pisces in your 8th house tests emotional trust and shared resources. Be extremely careful with speech around February 17th. A harsh word could cause a permanent rift. Venus and Mercury in Pisces support healing through forgiveness and deeper conversation. By the end of the week, a new, more realistic foundation for partnership can be built if you have the courage to face the truth. We move on to the next sign, that is Virgo or Kanya in Vedic language. The eclipse triggers your 6th house of work, health, and daily routines. While the February 17th may bring a sudden work crisis or a health concern, this is actually a victory transit. You have the drive to solve long standing problems once and for all. Mercury, your ruler in Pisces, in your 7th house, grants analytical brilliance in dealing with partners and competitors. Saturn in Pisces in your 7th house continues a relationship realism phase. Jupiter, exalted in your 11th house, brings supportive mentors and networks who offer guidance and financial support. Rahu in the 6th warns of unpredictable work environments or office politics. Keep your strategies close to you. Mars in Aquarius gives the fighting energy to overcome competitors. The energy around February 20th suggests a permanent change to your daily routine that leads to a much better long term productive life. Use this week to clean the house, both literally and figuratively. We move on to the next sign, that is Libra. Libra, or in Vedic language, Thula. The eclipse hits your 5th house of creativity, intelligence, and children. You may receive sudden news regarding a child, a creative project, or a romantic interest that forces you to change your plans. Venus, your ruler in Pisces, in your 6th house, is under pressure. You may feel a tug of war between your desires and your duties. Jupiter, exalted in your 10th house, is protecting your career, even if personal life feels very dramatic. Professional standing do remain solid. Saturn in Pisces in your 6th house pushes health awareness and routine discipline. Mercury in Pisces supports communication regarding work and health matters. Rahu in the 5th activates creative unpredictability and romantic intensity. Ketu in Leo in your 11th house heightens psychic sensitivity. So pay attention to dreams around February 17th. Avoid gambling or high risk investments this week. A creative dream could receive a practical anchor through a contract or agreement by the end of the week. This week mixes duty with creative inspiration. So we now move on to the next sign, that is Scorpio or Vrischika in Vedic language. The eclipse occurs in your fourth house of home, mother, and inner peace. Mars, your ruler, is in Aquarius in the fourth house, fighting alongside Rahu. So you can expect a clash of the titans kind of energy within your domestic sphere. You may feel a sudden urge to move, renovate, or restructure your living situation, but obstacles are present. Jupiter exalted in your ninth house is your luck factor. A spiritual guide, elder, or mentor may provide the advice you need to stay calm. Saturn in Pisces in your fifth house stabilizes creativity and emotional expression. Mercury and Venus in Pisces bring depth to creative projects and emotional healing through family. Rahu in the fourth may make you highly ambitious about a new direction. The energy around February 20th could signal finalization of a property decision or a major emotional grounding. This is a week to nurture your roots and avoid public drama. Your power will lie in your private life right now, emotional restructuring disguised as practical decisions. We now move on to the next sign, that is Sagittarius or Dhanu. The eclipse triggers your third house of courage, communication, and siblings. You may be asked to give a major presentation, make a bold announcement, or handle a sudden short trip. Jupiter, your ruler, is exalted in your eighth house, giving secret wisdom and protection from hidden dangers. Mars and Rahu in your third house make your words sharp, excellent for negotiation, but potentially harmful for family harmony. Saturn in Pisces pushes home stability and emotional responsibility from your fourth house. Mercury and Venus in Pisces in your fourth house support emotional communication and family bonding. Rahu in the third may cause a restlessness and a craving for adventure. By the end of the week, a project involving writing, media, or technology could receive solid structure that leads to long term success. Focus on brave, honest communication, but double check your facts before publishing or sending important messages. Now we move on to the next sign, which is Capricorn or Makara in Vedic language. Your ruler Saturn sits in Pisces in your third house of communication, while the eclipse activates your second house of wealth and family. This is a major reboot of your financial security. An old income or an old income stream may shift or pause around February 17th, only to be replaced by a more disciplined approach by the end of the week. Mars in Aquarius in your second house makes you hungry for success, but also prone to heated family arguments. Watch your temper. Sun entering Aquarius in the second house completes an identity finance cycle. Jupiter exalted in your seventh house provides a supportive partner or business ally who helps manage your stress. Mercury and Venus in Pisces support careful speech, structured communication, and financial planning discussions. Ketu in Leo in your eighth house may create cynicism about traditions, but Saturn reminds that rules and discipline still matter. Sign contracts on February 19th or 21st for best results. Avoid the eclipse day for major financial commitments. We move on now to the next sign, that is Aquarius or Kumbha in Vedic language. Now, Aquarius, you are the host of this eclipse. It hits your first house of self. This is the most significant week of your year, possibly your decade. Sun, Mars, and Rahu in your own sign forces a total personal reset. You may feel physically exhausted or mentally overwhelmed. This is the old version of you leaving. Saturn in Pisces in your second house pushes financial realism and slow, stable wealth building. Jupiter exalted in your sixth house helps maintain health through discipline, and protects against enemies. Mercury and Venus in Pisces in your second house increase your ability to articulate your value and attract resources. Rahu in the first house intensifies destiny turning points and leadership expectations. Avoid any major surgeries or appearance changes on February 17th. This is a week for silence, prayer, and birthing the future version of yourself. Life may feel like it is speeding up, but trust the process. We move on to the last sign, that is Pisces or Meena. The eclipse hits your 12th house of the subconscious. It is also about loss and liberation. You may feel like you are walking through a dream or that the weight of the past is finally being lifted. Saturn in your own sign continues life restructuring and identity maturity. This is a long term process, not overnight. Jupiter, your ruler, is exalted in your fifth house, making intuition and creative mind your greatest allies. Mercury and Venus, also in your sign, amplifies self expression, artistic ability, and spiritual clarity. Rahu in Aquarius activates your 12th house for subconscious clearing and past karma processing. Ketu in Leo in your sixth house helps dissolve old health patterns or work enemies naturally. The energy around February 20th carries a classic signature of spiritual awakening or the literal manifestation of a long held dream from your subconscious. Stay away from intoxicants and heavy crowds this week. Your soul needs peace to process the massive karmic clearing that is underway. Foundation building is also important, even if results feel very slow. That's all I have for this week's Vedic astrology prediction. Hoping to continue next week. Thank you.